Hey, where are you going? Do you want to learn something really cool? Check out this tree here. Have you ever seen a tree this beautiful? Do you know what it is? This is an ash tree, Fraxinus species. It's from the family of lilacs and olives called Oleaceae, and it's beautiful. Look at it, look how happy it is. Now, ash trees are native to Canada from Manitoba all the way to the East Coast. They're not found in BC or Alberta, but everyone loves ash trees so much they were planted widely across cities in those western provinces as well. So basically you can find ash trees all across Canada. So we have three main types of ash trees. They are the green ash, Fraxinus pennsylvanica, the black ash, Fraxinus nigra, and the white ash, Fraxinus americana. Now, you may also hear reference to a red ash, which is kind of confusing because a red ash, after a while, was decided it was the same species as the green ash. So we have the green and the red, which are the same, and we have the black and we have the white. We also have something called the pumpkin ash. So we have all these different colors, but you know what? All ash trees have green leaves, and all ash trees have brown bark. So why all these confusing names? And how on earth do we tell them apart? Well, let's look at this beautiful fella here. So get right up and cozy with it, take a look at its leaves, and if you see one stalk with one terminal leaflet and then two opposite pairs going down, anywhere from 5 to 9 leaflets, then you have an ash tree. Hello, ash tree. Now, how do we tell the different ash trees apart? So if you look at one of the leaflets, what you want to look for is whether it has stalks or not. Now remember, when you're taking photos in your iNaturalist, you want to zoom in close and take pictures of all the different characteristics. So you want to look at the stalks on the leaflets, you want to flip it over, and you want to see if there's any hairs on the undersides of the leaves. If it's in the winter time, you want to look at the branches and you want to look at the buds at the end of those branches. But none of this really matters what species it is. All ash species are susceptible to something called EAB. Have you heard of EAB? Answer this poll question right now and let me know. EAB is the emerald ash borer, Agrillus planipennis. It is a wood-boring metallic jewel beetle native to the Far East. It is in fact a beautiful species. In its native range, it's not a pest as its numbers are kept in check by several species of parasitoid wasps such as this one. They prey on the eggs and the larvae of the beetle, and they keep its numbers low. But what happens when you pull this species out of its well-balanced home ecosystem and put it into a novel one such as ours? Well, this is what happened. In 2002, EAB was detected in Michigan and in Windsor, Ontario. And from there, it's slowly radiating outwards and outwards, unchecked. What happens is the adults of the beetle will find our native ash trees, they'll lay their eggs on the branches or bark of the trees, the eggs will hatch, the larvae will crawl underneath the bark, and they'll start to eat all the inner cambium and the phloem. So they make these really neat tunnels underneath the bark so you can't see them from the outside. And what happens is the tree no longer can get the nutrients that it needs to survive. This disruption causes the foliage to die back. Entire branches turn brown and die, like this one over here. Look at it. This is an EAB infested tree. Look at the poor thing. Only about half of it still has its leaves. The rest of the branches are bare. And if you didn't know exactly what was happening, you would just think this is maybe not a very happy or an unhealthy tree. It is in fact very unhealthy, but the story is much bigger than that. Up to 99% of all ash trees will succumb to the beetle within 8 to 10 years of when it arrives. Most of our species of North American ash have no natural defense against the EAB. Neither woodpeckers, nor parasites, nor other insects have been able to reduce the numbers of EAB in our area. And it has the potential to migrate up to 20 kilometers per year. So every year we're losing ground. It's a fight between our management practices and the movement of the EAB. Some reports suggest that within 50 years we could lose all ash trees completely within Canada and the US. Now we have many, many species of native ash trees. And imagine what would happen, the cascading effects of the loss of that entire genus. Now, street trees do not colonize cities naturally, such as these ones that you see here. They're carefully selected and planted to be able to tolerate stressful urban conditions and in some cases mitigate problems such as air pollution. So those thousands of ash trees that were attractive for this very reason, that were planted across the west coast of Canada, are now under the potential of a threat by this major pest called EAB. Now the consequence of narrowed street tree selection means that we have lower diversity in our cities, and when a problem arises such as this and all of our ash trees are being affected, you have the potential to lose a huge proportion of all street trees in an area. One report showed that up to 44 species can utilize a single ash tree, so it's clearly an important component of our environment. So we'll be seeing a cascading effect for quite some time. So is EAB in your area? Right now we're here in Nova Scotia, and EAB has reached as far west as Winnipeg in 2018 and as far east as Bedford, Nova Scotia, where we are standing right now. So it has not yet reached the western provinces, and we have to act fast if we want to stop it from doing so and from saving the rest of our native ash trees. So when EAB is in an area, what can you do? First things is you have to detect it. So there's a lot of studies working on just finding out where EAB exists and what is its rate of movement. Secondarily, you can treat the tree by drenching the soil with an insecticide or spraying it. And the idea is that the tree will uptake that insecticide into its inner xylem and phloem, and the larvae will then eat the insecticide and they will perish before they can harm the tree any further. And last resort, with a heavily infested tree, we just got to cut it down and cart away the entire thing so that the nearby trees don't get infected. So it's a war going on. And who is going to win? We really don't know. This has been going on already for decades. 2002 is when the first ones were sighted, if that is in fact when they first landed here in Canada and the US. So now that you know, open your eyes, look for the ash trees, and when you see one dying back, you know that that one, sadly, is losing the battle.